You are now listening to the Vitalize podcast. Hey yo, what up, family? Welcome back to the Vitalize podcast. You are here with your friendly neighborhood host, Mr. Black, and I'm so incredibly excited to be here with you today, man. You have no idea how I feel right now, where I am, where my mind, my heart is. You may even be able to feel the energy that I'm giving. If you are here for the first time, welcome. You might be like, whoa, what is happening? You are being infused with life, love, and the pursuit of happiness. That just felt appropriate to say in a moment. But really, man, I'm just excited and living on cloud 17. I like that number better than 9. I don't know why. You know what I'm saying? I'm on cloud 21. It's like my favorite number. Let's do that. I'm on cloud 21 right now. So sometimes I say 11. That's neither here nor there. The point is I'm literally floating, man, living a dream. So excited for today's episode. And listen, if you tapping in, you are not here by chance. There's some things that I got to give you today that I know can revolutionize your life. If you've been in a place where you want to dream this big dream and you want to accomplish and achieve the dream. Where my dreamers at? Holla at your boy. Go leave me a message if you're a dreamer. Just say dreamer. Go comment on a post on IG at mblackspeaks. Go send me a DM. Where my dreamers at? Where are my people who are tired and sick and tired of the same old status quo, mundane reality and want to build something bigger, greater, grander than you can fathom? You want to create a legacy. You want to live the life of your dreams. If that's you, then you came to the right place today, so stay tuned, buckle in, strap in, and get ready to soar high today because I'm pouring my heart and soul out today. But before I do that, you may have noticed, or maybe you haven't, but I want to just show off a little bit of hardware we got here, man, and it's not even honestly about showing it off. I brought this because it actually goes with what we're talking about today. If you don't know what I'm talking about, because you're listening to this on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening to this, thank you for taking the time to listen to your boy. I promise this is going to pierce you in the heart. But if you want to see what I'm talking about as well, you can tap in on YouTube and you can find me on YouTube. I got a couple of awards here because I just came back from the Cheer Choice Awards. And I got this here. And man, this is such a cool program. You know, it's such a cool moment in time for me to be there. So actually, this episode is hosted by none other than Spread the Cheer USA, which is the nonprofit arm of the Cheer Choice Awards. So the Cheer Choice Awards is an event that celebrates positivity and positive creators online. And you guys know, if you rock with your boy, if you've been a part of this community for any amount of time, then you already know what we about. Listen, inspiration, motivation, affirmation, if that's your thing, you know how we get down. So we've been pouring that all over the internet, and it was noticed. And I was nominated for this incredible award, and I came home with not one, but 2 of these prestigious awards. The first one being most inspirational / motivational creator under 50K following. I love that. And the second one, which really is near and dear to my heart, is top fundraiser. And I didn't even set out to figure out how I could raise the most funds. I know it's been a little tight for everybody, to be honest. I know that. But it was a huge part of me to say, listen, if I can leverage my platform to do good, this organization, Spread the Cheer, is phenomenal. They do so much good for families and holidays. They provided Thanksgiving dinner to so many families. They provided Christmas to over 100 families, presents and food. They are literally providing and giving out every holiday gifts, and whether it be toys and food, and meeting the needs of families. And ultimately, in a world where it's dark, in a world where it's destitute, in a world where things are really grim at the moment, they are doing the most by spreading the cheer all over these United States. So if you want to know more about Spread the Cheer or how you could even contribute to them, listen, if you ain't got it, don't feel no pressure here. But if you do want to contribute, it is a registered 501c3. That means it's a not-for-profit. You can get the benefit of a tax write-off. You can visit spreadthecheerusa.org. That's www.spreadthecheerusa.org. And you can contribute to this incredible mission. And I'm so grateful and honored, seriously, to be amongst so many peers and to be amongst so many world changers and so many powerful just people, everybody who was there, not just those nominated, but just those who were attending, to be in that energy, to be in that love. It was everything. And my heart is forever grateful. Speaking of being there, I know y'all ready to tap in, so it's time to tap in. I hope you got your pens and pads ready. If you're the note-taking type, if you're not the note-taking type, if you're driving and you can't take notes, lock in and make sure you focus as much as you can, because I'm really about to give you something that I feel like is an X factor in transforming things for you down the road. Peep this. So I'm at the Cheer Choice Awards, and I'm getting ready for literally one of the biggest nights of my entire life. And I know I got dressed and I got all dapper Dan. You know, I might show y'all a picture or something. You can find that on Instagram. You know, you can see me at mblackspeaks there. But I was dressed and I was ready and I was nervous because we had no idea who the winners were. Like, you know, voting ended in like December. So we've been waiting months for this moment. And I remember getting dressed and my wife was like, babe, I'm so proud of you for being here. I'm so proud of you. And that felt great. But then I don't know, like I have these big butterflies in my stomach and my brain was a little scattered. And I was like, what if they do call my name? What am I going to say? God, I'm a motivational speaker. I got 5 seasons of a podcast. I could do this in my sleep, but I was so nervous in that moment. I didn't know. So here's what we did. We got dressed and we had been catching Uber rides the whole time, but something was like, you know what? The rideshare area of a hotel in Vegas is far. So we're going to hop in a cab. We're going to hop in a taxi cab and we're going to taxi across town. Okay, cool. We get in the taxi. The closer we get to the Palms where the event was hosted, my heart's beating fast. I'm getting super nervous. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Listen, for those of you who are just joining in or, you know, you want to know, like I'm telling you a story. And once we get to the point of this story, you're going to know how this ties into the topic of today. But we're on the way to the Palms. We're pulling up. And I remember it's being the smallest car ever. I'm trying not to ruffle my suit. I'm trying not to hit my head and mess up my hair. And all I know is I had to contort my body in a weird way to get out of the car. I got out of the car. We're here. We get in. We get to the ballroom. We're in line for the red carpet interviews pre-show. And in that moment, I was like, what is happening? This is real. Something that I've only dreamed about to this moment is real. I never dreamed I would have an opportunity to be an award-winning motivational speaker, to have the content that I create be celebrated and revered amongst my peers. Are you kidding me? I didn't set out for that. I told y'all this last week. I set out for you. I set out because I care about you, because I want to pour into you. So to get to this point is already wild. And then I'm like, okay, so almost I turn on the red carpet. I tap my pocket so I can get my phone out so somebody can take a picture of my gorgeous bride and my brother and I. My phone is gone. Gone. I'm like, okay, I don't have my phone in my pocket. Okay, wait a minute. Did I leave my phone in that cab, in that taxi? Oh, Lord. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm trying to recollect in my mind. I can't remember. And my brother and my wife are starting to get a little frantic, like, oh, what happened to your phone? I'm like, I don't know. And we're just like, then the announcement is made. I need all top 5 nominees down to the floor immediately. The show is getting ready to begin. And I'm like, I don't have my phone on the biggest night of my life. I can't capture anything. Of course, my wife and my brother has theirs. In retrospect, it actually worked out for the best because I was able to really take in the night. I was able to fully be present and just have that experience. So I'm grateful for that. But if you are a person who was sending me congratulatory wishes and was wondering why I wasn't responding to you, you'll know I wasn't just ghosting you or ignoring you. You'll know that, like, I didn't have my phone. So we go into the show. This is about 4 p.m. So I lost my phone at like 3 p.m. It's 4 p.m. The show is starting. Show ends about 7:30. Then we are taking pictures and exchanging information and just all the things. 9 p.m. We're getting ready to go, and we're like, okay, your phone must be left back in the hotel room. We're going to trust that you just never brought it out. Let's go back to our hotel across Vegas and let's go and find the phone. So we go across town to the hotel. We go upstairs. We turn the room upside down. There is no phone. Oh, my goodness. You guys ever had that moment where you just like, you feel like everything is starting to go wrong? Now, here's the thing. I am on the heels of having won 2 awards. So it was literally the night of my life. Like, so many ridiculously amazing people in the greatest way I got to connect with. But everybody, I'm like, oh, I want to follow you. I want to follow you. I want to keep up with you, but I don't have a phone. So it was great. But it seems like every time you set out to do something great and when everything is just happening and going in your favor, that there's always something to try to distract you. You ever been there where this distraction was starting to ring in your mind to pull you off of what you should have been focused on? See, in reality, we should have been celebrating. We planned on celebrating. I've had some incredible friends go and create a spot and we were all going to have dinner together, but I didn't get to do that because I'm now trying to track down a phone from 9 p.m. We go back to my hotel. I'm looking, it's not in the room. Okay, then that means I must have left it in the cab. Well, what cab was it? We don't even know what cab company it was. And because it was a taxi and I didn't get a receipt, there was no number to call. There was no email address. There was no way to contact these people. And in that moment, I started to feel it set in. It is now about 8:30 p.m. I am about to have to fly out of here. Got to be at the airport at 3 a.m. We only got a few hours, and I'm going to have to leave without my phone. And everything I wanted in that moment was to give up. Have you ever had a situation so outside of your control that you know, like you just replay in your mind, if I had just done X, Y, Z different, if I had just double checked my pockets, if I had just made sure I had it, we wouldn't be in this position. And I wanted to give up. But do you think I gave up? If you've been around the Vitalize community for any amount of time, you know your boy didn't give up. So what did I do? Okay, let's go downstairs and let's check lost and found. Maybe I dropped it fell out of my pocket, or maybe it was turned into this hotel. So I call lost and found. I go down and they're like, oh, we had 3 phones this afternoon. But none of them was the one I described. So, okay, they don't have my phone at this hotel. We're like, well, what if the cab driver turned around and turned it in at the Palms at the other hotel? So we called them and they're lost and found. Oh, nobody's turned in a phone to our lost and found. Gosh, now it's really setting in. You're never going to see this phone again. We tried to do to find my iPhone. It was off the grid. It was no connection to the internet. So I'm like, did somebody turn it off? Did somebody else get in the car and take it? My mind is everywhere now. I'm like, now I got private information on that phone, bank records and, social, like all of this stuff on the phone. So I'm like, oh my goodness, what is going to happen now? What are we going to do? And in that moment, I was like, okay, well, last hope is to go outside. We're not going to see that same cab, 0 chance. But let's just at least try to locate the company it was. So we come outside. We're sitting outside the MGM Grand. We're looking at cab after cab. It's like, no, it wasn't that company. No, it wasn't that company. Finally, about the 7th car, we're like, oh, my goodness, there it is. It was a new cab. The company, new cab. It's like, okay, well, that's helpful. So maybe, New Cab has a number online, and we found a New Cab number. We called it, and it was like, oh, if you want a lost and found inquiry, fill it out online and give us 48 hours to get back to you type situation. It's like, well, that defeated the purpose. We got excited for nothing. Well, about that time, the spirits of my entire group started to be down, started to dwindle. And I said, you know what? Let's just remember why we're here. Let's go and celebrate. We're going to go to Resorts World where we were planning on going. Let's go and celebrate and just hope we get a response or somebody we've reached out to lets us know something about the phone. So we head to Resorts World. Right when I'm thinking of giving up and everybody's somber, something told me at Resorts World, just ask this cab guy if there's a number to call. Now, he wasn't a New Cab. He was a entirely different company. But I'm like, what the heck? I'm going to at least ask. I say, hey, sir, is there a number that I can call to where maybe I can talk to someone about a phone I left in a cab earlier today? He said, yes, there is a number you can call. However, you won't be able to do that unless you know which cab company that it is that you need to call. Do you know what cab company it was? I said, well, actually, we do, because we didn't give up. We went outside. We did some R&D. We researched, and we found out it was a New Cab. He said, oh, yes, New Cab. There's a number to call. New Cab is owned by Yellow Cab. So if you look up Yellow Cab, then you can find New Cab. Finally, a glimmer of hope. I did a podcast episode on that before. All it takes is a glimmer of light to illuminate even the darkest darkness. And that little bit of hope was enough to just keep trying. So we called a yellow cab number, and they're going through options like speak to a manager, do XYZ, lost and found. Said, lost and found, please, for 500. They hit the lost and found. I got them on the phone. No, I didn't get them on the phone. It goes to voicemail. It says, lost and found is closed because it's the weekend, outside of business hours. You can let us know, and then we'll get back to you, in the time frame. And I was like, well, I fly out in like a couple hours. At this point, it's 10 p.m. I fly out. I got to be at the airport at 3 a.m. So I'm not leaving here without my phone. In that moment, it was tough. And in that moment, I wanted to give up because I'm like, what do you do? They're closed. Now I know my phone is probably in this office. I don't know that for sure, but I'm thinking it is. I'm hoping nobody's taking it. But everything inside of me is like, you're about to go home. So I'm like, you know what? There's one last option. I call the same number back and I click speak to a manager. I get a manager on the phone. I say, oh, thank you so much. Listen, I left my phone. I don't even know this. I'm just saying it. I left my phone in one of your cabs earlier today. She said, oh, yeah, just hit lost and found. They're closed right now, but if you send them an inquiry, they'll find it, locate it, and they'll get it to you. You can go pick it up in a few days. I said, well, I'm about to leave Vegas in like a few hours. I don't got a few days, so is there any way possible I can get my phone now? She said, it's okay if you're leaving. All you'll do is leave your address with me, and then they'll ship it to you, and we'll invoice you for the shipping. That's when my heart really sank. And I thought about it. And in that moment, there's 1,000,001 ways I could have, would have, should have stopped and given up. But your boy ain't giving up ever. And in that moment, I said to her, okay, ma'am, I am on the phone with a real human being. You are telling me there is not another human being inside your office who can step into the next office and just look in a lost and found and see if you have my phone. And she said, okay. And I don't know what that means, but she went away. About a minute later, she comes back. She said, oh my goodness, does it have a white thing on the back? I said, yes, it does. It sure does. She said, okay. She said, does it have a lady in a white shirt on the front? I said, yes, it does. Woo, this beautiful lady standing right next to me. She said, I got it. It's like she won the lottery. She was like, she just hit the slot machine. I got it. And I was like, let's go. So where are you located? Can I come get it? She said, yes, you can come get it. We are nowhere near where you are. We ain't on the strip. I had to go to this obscure place. 30-minute drive off the strip into the heart of Las Vegas. I don't care where I gotta go. I'm not leaving Las Vegas without this phone. About 11:37 p.m., I pulled up on my phone in this place and I got my phone. And I was able to see all the messages I had gotten about the congratulatory wishes on the awards. And, it's just a beautiful moment that evening. And here's why I tell you that story. In that, I was given 498 opportunities to give up. I could think of all the reasons I should give it up. My phone, we did everything you could do. We're trying to track, we're trying to trace, we're logging in the Apple accounts. None of it's working. Find my iPhone. It's off the grid. It's offline. So my phone isn't showing. Everything is saying you can't do it. Everything's closed. We'll ship it to you. But I determined in my own mind that it does not matter what happens. I'm not leaving Las Vegas without my phone. And so you just heard that long story, but the point of that story is I'm going from point A to point B. I don't even know what type of cab I was in. We had no information, no phone number, and I'm sitting here in front of you talking to you with my phone. I did not want to lose all the memories and all the pictures and everything I had taken all through that weekend. So what I'm saying to you is this. I know I told you that story, and I told you a story about me in Las Vegas. Somebody right now, one of y'all is thinking, that is the most Las Vegas story ever. Like your phone just was floating around Las Vegas in an obscure place while you were in a whole other place. How did you lose your phone? Anyway, that's another story for another day. I told you my brain was scattered because I was so nervous about the awards and not knowing what am I going to do if they call my name? How am I going to deliver a speech? So I lost the phone, but the point is when it came time to get it back, what I wanted, I knew I wanted, and I also determined in my mind from jump, there was nothing that was going to stop me from locating. I mean, when it was hopeless, I'm not going to lie. There was a couple times my heart was in the pit of my stomach. Like my phone might be gone forever, but I don't care. I'm exhausting all possibilities until we know for fact. And the reason I was able to do that is because I wanted it that bad. And my question for you today is, when is the last time you wanted something so bad that you were willing to be so unrelenting, that you were willing to give everything that you got, that you were willing to max out every single possibility in order to make it real? When is the last time? Have you ever been that unrelenting? Have you ever been that resilient? Have you ever had that amount of intestinal fortitude to not quit just because it's got hard? To not quit just because there was a lid placed in front of you, a barrier placed in front of you, every opportunity for you to quit. And the reason some of your dreams have not come true yet is because you don't want it as bad as you say you want it. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, we there now. Here we are. All of that setup just to get to this place. Your dreams have not come true because you don't want it the way you say you want it. It sounds good to say you want it. I know I brought these here for a reason, but there's a lot of people who see this and like, I want this award. I want that. Oh, my goodness. I want to be celebrated on a stage in front of the biggest influencers and creators in the world. I want that. And don't get me, that's not a bad thing to want. But the question is, do you want what came with it? Because there are years of doing this right here. When I was in this room by myself, before we had a visual and my beautiful engineer wasn't in the room with me, there was a time when I was just in a dark room by myself, just pouring my heart and soul out just like this, not knowing if a singular soul was going to listen to me. But we did it, and we turned it up. And I was just everywhere I go, filming, making videos, creating content, posting, doing it for the love and not for the likes. 20-hour days at some point. When Clubhouse, if y'all know what that is, it's an app, social audio. It's kind of like radio meets live podcast. It's kind of hard to explain if you haven't experienced it, but something tells me a lot of y'all know what I'm talking about. Maybe if you're a Clapper person, it's like a radio room in Clapper. It's like a space on Twitter Spaces. Like, you get it. But when I first hopped on there, and I first started gaining influence, and my following started going bananas, and it started growing. At one point, I was going by 1,000 followers a day. It was just, it was just going up, right? And in order to sustain that, I was up at leading, hosting rooms at 11 p.m., at 2 a.m., at 3:30 a.m., going to bed at 4 a.m., back up at 6 a.m. to teach all day. In and out, hopping on podcasts, off podcasts, coming in the studio to record, leaving the studio, going outside to the park, to the lake to record content. Y'all know you seen it. Writing the book, recording the audio book, releasing more episodes of the podcast, again and again and again, creating, working, grinding. When no eyeballs was watching, I'll go live at that time, and it might be 2 people pop on the whole live. But I always preach, do it for the love, not for the likes. It's not about that. Are you willing to stay consistent and diligent enough until your time comes? Because this was my time, but your time is coming. Your time is coming. And I'm going to be the first person there clapping for you when your time comes. And I'm so grateful and honored. I'm humbled by this. But I brought this because, yes, this is cool. This is an accomplishment, but this ain't about me. This is to inspire you. What happens if you're willing to put in the work? This is to inspire you and to ask the question, how bad do you really want it? Do you really want to dream? Or do you want to keep settling for less than what you know in your heart you deserve? Settling for what you know you deserve more. You know you want more. You know it. But you cannot give, It's like the people who give lip service, and I'm talking about these people, and for the longest time, keeping it real, I was this person. I told people I was writing a book like every other month for 10 years before I actually wrote a book. Oh, I'm writing this book. I wasn't writing nothing. You ain't writing nothing. I'm writing this book. It's going to be epic. It's going to be amazing. I'm writing this book. I'm telling these stories. I ain't wrote 10 words on a page, but I'm telling people for years I'm writing a book. Are you that person? Are you that person that's, I got this idea. I got this dream. I got this LLC idea. I got this business idea. I got this podcast idea. I got this book idea. I got this course idea. I got. And you just telling the same story because it sounds good and because people celebrate you when you have ideas. Oh, they give you a pat on the back. Oh, they give you a clap. Oh, they celebrate you. But then when that moment fades and those hand claps are gone, and those people go back to their business and doing what they're doing, and your butt has got to go home and actually do the work, and you sitting there and there is no motivation to actually make a move and make it do what it do because the external accolades are gone. Then what do you do? How bad do you want it then? It's easy to make a commitment in a moment of inspiration. Somebody on this podcast is going to leave this place today so inspired, saying, I'm going to get out here and I'm going to get to work and I'm going to launch my podcast. I'm going to write my book. I'm going to start my business. I'm going to research my LLC. I'm going to leave my job. I'm going to do whatever it is you need to do. Somebody is already right now in motion. But when you get up out of here, come on, man. When this moment fades, I got you ready to run through a brick wall right now. You ain't got to tell me. I know you ready. You ready right now. But when this inspiration fades, when the motivation passes, and it's nothing but you versus you versus your mind, and you versus the internal and external chains that have been holding you back from your greatness, in that moment, what is it going to take for you to take the steps in that moment? What is it going to take for you to put in the work in that moment? What is it going to take for you to just sustain yourself? And when are you going to be able to answer the question, how bad do you really want it? How bad do you want it? And for a long time, I felt like I wanted it, but I didn't want it bad enough. I didn't want it bad enough to sacrifice for it. I didn't want it bad enough to sacrifice some sleep for it. I'm not one of them people. Like my man, shout out to you, David. Sleep is for suckers. I don't necessarily fully subscribe to that. I believe sleep is for champions. You need sleep. I'm not going to tell you to do this in an unhealthy way. I believe you need rest. I believe you need sleep. But there are seasons where you're going to have to really put in some work and some extra hours. And that just is what it is. And you got to love it enough to do that. You got to sacrifice. Maybe everybody in your friend group is like, Leo, we going out tonight. We partying. We finna turn up. And you got to be willing to say, I can't turn up right now. Not that it's nothing. Go turn up. Go have a great time. I ain't in the turn up season. I got to put myself in a position to do some things and accomplish some things so that then I got a reason to come and turn up with you. Right now, I ain't there right now. I got work to do. And I'm challenging you to do the work that you need to do. And I'll get ready to land the plane with this story. I heard this story years ago, and it's a story that has literally impacted me forever from one of my incredible mentors. Shout out to you, Mr. E.T. Inspired. Shout out to Eric Thomas, The Truth, one of the GOATs. Literally, man, I just appreciate who you are to the industry. But he told the story about the guru years ago, and that story impacted me like never before. And basically there was a young man, a young mogul. He wanted to be a guru, like the guru. So the young man, he wanted to get this paper. He's like, I need to get this shmoney. So he's like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to go get this money. So he he made a wise choice to figure out who was already getting it like he wanted to get it, which was the guru. So he went to tap in with the guru. He's like, yo, I'm trying to get it like you getting it. I'm trying to get this shmoney. Like, come on, what do I need to do? So the guru says, okay, I'll tell you what, you really want to get this money? You want to get it like I got it? I need you to meet me tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. at the beach. At the beach? What are we doing I ain't trying to swim. I didn't sign up for no lessons. This ain't the YMCA. I said, I'm trying to get this money. The guru said, you want to be like me or not? Yes. Okay. Meet me at the beach, 4 a.m. Man pull up the next day, young man, 4 a.m. He going to see the guru. He come out suited and booted. My man suited from head to toe. I'm ready. What we gonna do at the beach? So the guru walks and steps out into the water ankle deep and says, okay, if you want to get it like I got it, step into the water. Young man's like, what you mean? Step in the water? This dude done lost his, are you tripping? What's wrong with this dude? Do you want it or not? Okay, I want it. Step into the water, ankle deep. My man's getting his slacks wet. Okay, cool. Guru steps, walks back further, waist deep. You want this money? Yes, I want it. Come with me. Follow me. The young man walks water waist deep, and he thinking like, man, oh man, buddy done lost his mind. I can't do this no more. I'm about to tap out. This is not it for me. Guru says, how bad do you really want it? Do you really want it? Man says, yes, I want it. That's why I'm here. Okay. The guru steps back. At this point, water, mouth high. Oh, snap. The young man comes back mouth high. He's like, man, this man, forget this water. Forget this. I ain't come here for this. I'm out. But the guru is like, you want it? He's like, I want it. So he goes. The young man is mouth high. About that time, the guru captures his head, takes him under, and is holding him under. The young man is reaching up. He's fighting. The guru is holding him under. He's reaching, scratching, clawing, holding him under, reaching, scratching, clawing. Finally, the guru lets the young man up, and the young man, the breath comes back into his lung, and he's like, what's up, man? What's wrong with you? Are you trying to kill me? The guru had one question for him. He said, yo, let me ask you a question. When you were under that water, what was the only thing on your mind? What could you think about in that moment? And the young man said, all I wanted to do in that moment was breathe. He said, okay. He told this young man, he said, listen, son, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, that's when you're going to be successful. And the question he was really asking him is, how bad do you really want it? Do you want success? Do you want whatever it is you say you want as bad as you really say you want it? Because in reality, some of y'all just want a stage. We stepping on toes today. You just want a stage. You just want some hand claps. You just want some praise. You want some external validation from people who don't even know you from Adam. Who cares? Those people can't give you no validation. That ain't gonna make you feel no better about yourself. Because if you live by the approval and the applause of people, you're gonna die by it when they ain't giving it. That's why you gotta do it for the love and not for the likes. So again, in that moment, you imagine yourself being a young man, all he wanted in that moment was to breathe. He would give in anything just to breathe. And I look around in my life, and I look at the adversity I've come through. I look at the abuse I've come through. I look at the near homelessness. I look at the struggle. I look at everything my wife and I have been through. I look at me, the fear keeping me in a box, but until I stepped out of that box and I started to build something that didn't exist, and I started to believe in myself, and I started to share my voice. Nothing could have prepared me to really think that I could get it, but I wanted it that bad. I was willing to give anything for it other than sacrificing my morals and my soul. I was willing to grind for it. I was willing to trade in hangout time for it. Oh, come on, man. I was a gamer. I was willing to trade in gaming for it. Put it up on the shelf. I can't do that right now. I ain't on that right now. I was able to stop scrolling on the app, stop playing the games on the phone, all the things. None of that stuff is bad. But all of that stuff is a distraction. All I wanted was to build something, to build a platform that enabled me to serve and impact and serve. And lo and behold, pouring my heart and soul into that and wanting that as bad as I wanted to breathe, put me in a position to where I now got celebrated amongst my peers. But this ain't about me. This is about you and what you can have in your life. And I'm telling you with everything inside of me, I want you to have it. I want you to have it, but no more lip service. No more excuses. No more talking about, no more just talking. Ain't no more talking. This is your kick. This is the kick you needed to get your butt in gear. And I'm asking you today, how bad do you really want it? Because if you want it as bad as you say you do, then you're going to start taking some steps. If you want it as bad as you say you do, you're going to start putting in that work. If you want it as bad as you say that you do, you're going to start doing the things, the uncommon things. You're going to start doing the things that move the needle forward. You're going to start doing things that necessarily don't pay off right now, but will pay you back later. You're going to start building in silence. You're going to start building an empire. You're going to start learning and growing and going and doing so many more positive things. And ultimately, you're going to build a legacy and you're going to create an impact, and I want you to know that you can do it and to keep doing it every single day of your life because you